Multiple female teachers have been arrested for inappropriate relationships, put up their picture full mask. Look at this. This is a damn shame. These arrests took place over 2 days. At least 6 female teachers have been arrested in the U.S. in a span of 2 days this week for having inappropriate relationships with their students. Kentucky teacher Ellen Shell, 38, was arraigned after prosecutors said she had been intimate with the teens on 2 separate occasions in July and August of last year. Shell worked as a teacher's aide at 2 elementary schools prior to that. Put up the next one. Arkansas educator. Her name is Heather Hare, 32, was expected to turn herself in Friday for an alleged intimate relationship with a teen student and is now facing a first-degree felony assault. I got more. Put her up. This was a story from last month. Oklahoma teacher and daughter of a local mayor, Emily Hancock, 26 years of age. We covered this, was also arrested after local police were tipped off to her alleged relationship with a student, a former substitute with Wellston Public Schools. Hancock allegedly began communicating with the teen last October and eventually began sending the 15-year-old inappropriate photos. Let's go to Kristen Gant, 36, an English teacher at a Catholic high school in Des Moines, Iowa, was added to the tally for allegedly being intimate with a teen student 5 times inside and outside of her own classroom. Ms. Gant groomed the student over social media, according to the report, and that surveillance cameras caught them going into a classroom alone with a paper over the window. She has been since, fired by the school and will now answer to felony counts of sexual exploitation. In Virginia, Aaliyah Kurtmond, a 33-year-old teacher at James Madison High School, was also nabbed for allegedly being intimate with a student over the course of several months. A learning disabilities teacher with Fairfax County Schools since 2016. She has now been charged with 4 counts of indecent liberties and being held without bond. There's more. Finally, Ms. Hannah Marth, 26, Pennsylvania. Javelin coach allegedly had been intimate with the teenage child she coached. Martin was arrested after police learned she had engaged in an inappropriate relationship with the Northampton area high school track and field athlete. The 26-year-old sent the teen a text May 2021 and invited him to her home where the two allegedly had encounters. Now, we reported on these stories. I'm here on Indisputable.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Here's Dwight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grown Man Talking. I'm your host, Dwight. It's Friday, feels good, and oh yeah, tomorrow y'all be sure to watch the show because we will be announcing the 2025 most powerful ports, and y'all don't want to miss that. But today we're going to talk about the video we just saw. So let me start bringing everybody in. Let's bring in Mr. Brett. Mr. Brett, in. Come on in, Mr. Brett. Where you at? Mr. Britton, where you at?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Britton. How you doing?
I'm right here. What's happening? How y'all doing?
Shoot, we doing good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Trying to digest this topic. This is gonna be a humdinger tonight.
Yeah, Mr. Britton, it's gonna be something, boy. I'm sweating already. But let me go ahead and start bringing everybody else in. Let me bring in Brother Dez. Brother Dez, you in the house? Come on in, my brother.
Hey. How's everybody doing this evening? Happy Friday, y'all.
Friday, how you doing there?
Man, it's Friday. A little anxious, having anxiety attacks over here, Tomorrow's a big day, having anxiety attacks, but
I bet you are. I know you are, but boy, tomorrow's gonna be exciting. So I can't wait for that. But this is gonna be exciting to talk about too. So let me also bring in King D. King D in the house. Come on in, King D. What's up? You on? Yeah,
Yeah,
there
there you
you
go.
go. All right. How you
Um,
doing there, King D?
I'm doing good, man. I'm finally middling. I'm hanging in there.
I see, man. It's a Friday. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. And last but not least, let's bring in Miss Nura. Come on in, Miss Nura.
Happy Friday.
Yes, Friday girl.
How y'all
Friday.
doing?
You doing fine?
Doing all right.
Yes. So that video we all just saw, I don't know what to say. You know, we did joke about it because me and Dez both said, you know, we were saying about certain teachers. Well, they wasn't back then. We was back then, but I'm gonna leave that alone till later. But I'm gonna go with Mr. Britt. Mr. Britt, what you say about that video we just saw? What do you have to say about the teachers and these students that, you know, the teachers are giving them extra aids on things that don't tend to the homework and other things in the class? What you think about that?
Man, this is something that it's actually been going on. I mean, it was going on even when I was in school. It wasn't real prevalent, but it
Right,
happened. And
right,
but for the majority of those situations, I can only say that it's illness. You know what I'm saying? It's an illness when you get to a point to where you just throw caution to the wind. You don't care about your career, your family, the harm that you do to a child. You know what I'm saying? That's criminal. You know what I'm saying?
right,
It's all out rape. Do you have some of those situations where the child actually is a willing participant and they know what they're doing? Yeah,
right,
you have those rare cases where you have an older guy, say, or an older woman, and they're in school, they're 18, 19. They pretty much, they pretty much make decisions. But the kids, when you got kids and they're in high school and they 15 years old, come on,
right.
man. Come on.
Now,
That,
now, Mr.
that's
I'm gonna ask you this, Mr. Britton. Did you have a crush on one of your teachers in school?
heck yeah. And
No.
I was, I keep it 100. I was one of
Right.
those cases. You know what I'm saying? I say what I say on one hand, but looking back, she knew what she was doing. I ain't gonna say her name, but you know, uh, she was a French teacher, and
Uh-oh.
I had to have a language course going into
Mm-hmm.
college because I played college basketball. I was being recruited, and
Right.
going into school that year, I had to have that elective. So she was my teacher, and she was ooh wee. I'm talking about Jane Kennedy. Ooh wee. You know what I'm
Woo!
saying? And
I feel you, Mr.
and I was him. I was playing basketball. I was that guy, and and I fed into that, and I got escorted to school every morning in the Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. You know what I'm saying? But
Mr. Britton.
but looking at it from where I'm sitting now, man,
Right.
I got to honestly say that behavior still helped molded some of my decisions later, and it wasn't
Yeah.
always the best. You know.
Wow, Mr. Britton. Hey, I feel you. Uh, I want to hear from the lady in the room now. Nora, how do you
Yes.
feel about that video we just saw?
Well, I don't understand the mentality. I don't understand how you could cross a line such as that and be
Right.
okay with yourself. I don't get it. I
Mm-hmm.
try to understand. I can't. Did I
Right.
have a crush on my teacher? Yes, I did.
Uh-oh. Well, tell us about that crush. Give a little detail about that crush.
It was my band teacher. He knew it. The
Uh-huh.
whole thing knew it. It was not a secret. I've always been that way.
Always the bad teacher. Damn.
It was. I tried to get private piano lessons. He did not want to be alone with me ever. He
Tell
avoided
me,
me.
no,
At all
stop right
costs.
there. You was trying to get private piano lessons.
Yes, he gave them.
No,
He gave private lessons, but he wouldn't give them to me.
Oh.
But I was a kid, so I mean, I did what
Yeah,
kids did. So
right.
you don't blame the child for being a
That's true.
child,
You can't blame
doing
the
childish
child.
things. But it's up to the adult to draw the line, and he
Yeah,
did
that's
that.
true.
He maintained,
Mhm.
and he was an honorable man, and he
Right.
did not treat me any differently except to avoid me. Did not want to be alone with me, but
Okay. Yeah, that man said, nah, you ain't getting me, goddamn. But I hear you, no, I hear you. Now, Mr. Brother Dad said, what do you feel about that video we saw?
well, I think, it's unfortunate that, that they only highlighted the ladies in this particular video because I know that there's some men out there doing some male teachers out here doing the
You're
same
right.
thing,
You right about
you
that,
know,
brother.
and I can't sit up here and lie and say that I was one of them ones. I wish some of the teachers I had, because I can still remember them all to this day. Fourth grade, Mr. White; sixth grade, Miss Sasser; English
Woo!
teacher, junior and senior year, Miss Emma Stewart, and
Mm-hmm.
my and Coach Turley. She was
Ooh.
she
not the
she was on
coach.
it. Yeah, she was but she was a different type of sexy.
Yeah.
She actually had participated in American Gladiators. I don't know if y'all remember that show.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that show. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
she
yes,
actually
yes, I do.
participated in that show. But like Mr. Britton was saying, though, as these people being teachers, they don't realize that parents are trusting them with their children to guide them in the
Right.
right direction. So
Right.
I mean, realistically, now that I'm at the age I'm at now, I can say that's not right. That's not what that
Right.
child is there for. And if you were put yourself in a position to where you have to prey on a minor in order to get satisfaction, like Mr. Britton said, there's a sickness there. Why come you can't find a man your own age?
Right.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that, Des. I agree with you. You are so right. Um, I know, I know King D is at work. King D, are you there?
Yeah.
How you feel about that video? What we just saw, and do you have any story to tell about one of your teachers? But how you feel about the video we just saw before the show started?
I don't think any of my teachers were attractive. I don't think I would even. I don't even think I would even think to say, "Oh, she's sexy." It being, I don't know. I guess because I was a kid, you know what I'm saying. So now in
Right.
high school, this probably would be a different story because I had one name was King. Ooh. She was a
Uh-oh.
she was a baddie, but I know she wouldn't look my direction because I was a child. But it's
Yeah.
sick. It's sick that it's just sick. It's sick to know that grown ass people like y'all grown. Like why y'all mess with these kids and people kids? If my kid came home and said Miss Wimby touched my tweeter, what you think I'm gonna do?
Ooh.
Miss Wimby gonna get her. Miss Wimby Miss Wimby
What?
gonna do that.
It's gonna be some furniture moving in that classroom.
Woo!
I'm telling you, it's gonna be turned. I'm gonna turn that whole school up, man.
Oh Lord.
No, that's
Yeah, that
nasty. Like how can
I
you
can
look at
understand because I was thinking that same thing, King D. I had to put myself in a parent's position and say, what if somebody came home, my daughter came home and said this, or even my
Yeah.
son. A part of me would be like, that's my boy, but another part would be like, hold up, that ain't right.
Mhm.
But with my
Hey,
daughter, oh yeah, y'all might as well get my bail money ready.
Yeah.
hey, I
I'm about
feel
to
you.
turn this
I'm
mother
not gonna
up.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. Now, it is wrong. I'm gonna have to say it is wrong, but I'm not gonna lie. I had some crush on a couple of teachers, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be mad about it. I said, when I was seeing some of those teachers, I said, "Dang, why couldn't that have been me?" Oh, lucky mother, but those kids are lucky. But that's that was just me just going back to my old days in school. But yeah, I had some teachers I had a crush on, and Miss Johnson was one of them. Miss Hopkins, and whoo, that perfume and that dress, and yeah, I was like, but as the guy said, we was young. This is going to junior high and going to high school, and you're gonna be attracted to some of your teachers. English teacher, teacher do math. It happens. It happens. But like everybody said on the panel, yes, it's wrong. It's wrong for these women and some men to take advantage of young people. And the thing is, some of these people are actually married. I think I remember one story that one of the teachers was married, and actually, I think she was trying to get one of the young man that she was with to kill her husband. I remember seeing a story on that, and I was like, this teacher loved this student so much that they wanted to be together, and the only way they could be together, like 100. I don't know if the student was going to move in with her, how it's going to happen, but she was trying to get this young man to get her husband. Could have been for their insurance money. I'm just saying. But it's wrong, and you hear a lot of stories about this. Now, I want to go to Dez. Now, Dez, you said men. Have you heard any men teachers on the news that's doing the same?
Well, I haven't heard any stories here in Missouri about it, because
Right.
I don't for some reason or another they don't put it out there. That's why I just find it odd that they have accumulated so many stories about these women. But I've never really seen too many stories about male teachers getting in these situations, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure that it is happening.
There's a few of them out there.
I can't say because I haven't heard any stories about it, but I'm not gonna sit up here and act like some of these men ain't taking advantage of some of these young girls, especially the way that these girls are dressing nowadays, the way that they are built,
Yeah.
and because I don't know what they putting in that infamil, but something's going on with the way these kids is coming up.
Yes, they are. They are different than what we were coming up. They a little bit more out there. And just to say, I had heard of a story of a man that was taking advantage of some young ladies. And I'm not sure, but if I'm correct, I think he was a PE teacher. To be honest with you, I think he was a PE teacher. You know how those girls be doing those flip gymnastics and everything. Yeah, he was in there doing a little more extra, and I can't remember what state or city, but they did have a thing on the man that was taking advantage of some of these young ladies. Now I want to ask Mr. Britton. Mr. Britton, how would you react if your daughter came home, or even your son came home and said that Mr. or Mrs. whoever was coming at me and coming at me real strong? As a parent, how will you handle that? What would you do?
Well, first of all, how old are my children?
Let's say they're about let's say she's about 14 years old.
14 years old.
Yes.
Does not touch my baby inappropriately. Those are my babies, whether it's the male or the female. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely inappropriate at that age. In fact, it's an assault. You know what I mean? Because we as parents, it's the same thing as it. Like when I work in the field, one of the things that they talk about, on a professional level, is that I can't take advantage of somebody that's chemically addicted because they don't have the capacity to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about capacity. And a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, even a 16-year-old haven't had enough life experience to be able to qualify for capacity. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't, they can't make those determinations that this is safe for me. So in other words, they do something unsafe to themselves unknowingly. So it's, because that person that's administering that, they're the ones that's in control, and they make it appear as if you pleasing me, then this is what, like, it's a reward. So no, it's trifling. It's trifling as hell. If you got to do my 14-year-old, it's terrible.
I agree with you, Mr. Britton.
I'll blow up.
I know. I'm there with you. I'll be blowing up too. Oh, well, on that note, now we had some. We'll be back after these commercials. Don't y'all go nowhere, because we be back in 2 and 2, maybe 1. Who to say? But we'll be back. Don't go nowhere.
Alabama teacher Jill Campbell, 47, was arrested for having a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old student. The victim, now an adult, reported the abuse occurred when he was in 7th and 8th grade. Police found evidence supporting his claims during their 2-week investigation. Campbell, who taught at Opelika Middle School for over 20 years, faces rape and sodomy charges. She's currently out on $35,000 bail and placed on administrative leave pending investigation.
Thank you to everyone over there on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and also Instagram. We also have a new platform that we're streaming through, which is called Rumble. We're just testing it out to see how it go. Hopefully it's blessed, so we'll see what happens. Also, make sure you tune in tomorrow. The day has finally emerged. The judges have chosen a poet, and the decision is in. All of them are winners, but there are some chosen ones. Make sure you tune in tomorrow live as they announce the chosen poets of 2025. Now over to Dwight.
Oh yeah, y'all don't y'all miss that. That's gonna be woo. I can't wait for that day. So y'all don't miss that. Before I go on to Nora, I just want to say I think it was one time they had a teacher that went to jail, and the funny thing about when she got out of jail, the student that she was with, they got together and got married. I'm like, what the Twilight Zone is this going on? The woman did all this stuff to the young man. She went to jail. She spent her time in jail. When she got out, her and that same student that she was fooling around with ended up getting married. Wow. But I'm going to ask Nora. I'm going to ask you the same question. How would you feel if your son came home and said, Mama, I wasn't going to say nothing, but Miss Thompson got her hands on me, and I don't know what to do. I mean, how would you react to that? How would you handle that? Will you go off? Will you go call the police? Will you take care of business yourself? How would you react if your son came home and told you something like that?
I imagine that I would be in shock, and being in shock, I don't know how I would react. I have no idea. But I would do something. I just don't know what. I don't know if I would act on impulse or do the right thing. Or I can't tell you. That doesn't sound like any of my boys. My boys, they would have handled it. I would have been getting them out of suspension for knocking their teacher out, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that don't sound like a story my kids would have came home with.
Your son's gonna handle it. In other words, they would have took care of that right there on the spot themselves.
Yeah, I would have needed bail money.
Oh. Oh man, I feel you on that. Now, Des, same thing with you. How would you feel if, son, daughter, around 14, 15, 16 years old was being, a teacher was coming after them and they came home and told you about it? How would you handle that news? What would you do?
Well, I would be highly upset, and I would be calling for jobs, and like Nura said, I would need some bail money because somebody's gonna get touched, and this is a very sensitive subject for me because of the simple fact that I do teach. So, so that's kind of like me. I'm trying to envision myself even imagining trying to deal with a child like that, and I don't see how that's even feasible for an adult in their right frame of mind to take advantage of a mind that's not developed. That's just not that does not seem feasible. That there is something wrong with that individual. That adult needs some type of counseling, something, because there's no way that they should be even looking at these children in this manner, because of the simple fact that they are put in a position of authority and in a position to mold this child, not to destroy them. Because some guys they may enjoy it, but in the long run, like Mr. Britton said, that does affect some your decision making in some capacity down the line as you get older. And that's coming from some. I lost my virginity willingly and consensually to a woman that was twice my age. So I can kind of see at
But
that
how can
age
you
that
say you was consenting though? How can you say that was consensual?
it was consensual on both of our parts
But
when I
it was
lost
still
my
a crime.
virginity.
It was a crime though. You know, you can get some
But
of these guys
at
right
the age
now.
of 16, like they were saying, I wasn't looking at it as a crime. All I know is that this older woman was attracted to me. I wasn't looking at it as, oh, she's violating me. No, I
But how you
looked at
look
it
at it
as,
now when you look back on it?
well, like I said, I mean, it was still wrong, but at the same time, I was of age, but she was twice my age. I wasn't
Mhm.
14 or 12, like in the video or anything like that. Now that would have been just flat out wrong.
But isn't it still a crime against a 16-year-old?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
I think it's legal at 18, but still being a teacher is against the code of
I
the
mean, what this was non-school related though.
Oh,
This was non-school related.
there was all school grounds.
Yes, this had nothing. It was the summertime. School wasn't even in.
All right, Will Smith.
So but even though just still put it in that capacity, yes, that was wrong, and she could have, if my mother would have known then, my mother probably would have tried to go for this woman in a severe way, because I know my
Yes,
mama.
she would.
Definitely.
Oh,
So
we.
it does not make it right, whether it's consensual or consensual or not. It does not make it right. And then with this video that the lady just showed, at the age of 12, sodomy. Come on now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I want to ask King D. King D. Same question. How would you act if your child? I kind of got a feeling how you would act. How would you act if one of your babies came home and said, "Hey, Dad, one of the teachers is doing things to me I don't like"? I mean, how would you act if your child came home and told you something like that?
I'll be in the county jail. I swear I'll be in the county. I'm going back to jail, and I swear to God, I do that. I do that time. I swear to God.
Oh snap, boy! It's some bail money for everybody.
My mugshot gonna be a big old. I'm gonna be like this on the mugshot. I swear to God. But look, this is a true story. This is a true story. A friend of mine found out her 17-year-old was having.
Wait a minute, 17's having sex with the teacher?
With a teacher, with a coach at school. He was.
It's always those damn coaches. So
Yeah.
what happened? I mean,
it was all over. It was all over the news. I'm sure. Yeah. Did y'all ever see about that? Well, y'all in Austin. Y'all didn't see about that LBJ high school teacher?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That was it.
That was my homegirl's daughter that he was messing with.
Ooh,
And
yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that.
Ballistic. When I said that lady went ballistic, and we had to really talk her down. Like she was on the news. Yeah, they had her face blurred out on the news, but that was my homegirl.
Right, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, yes, I definitely remember that.
So what are his charges?
Oh, but he dead now. The dude dead now. The teacher, he died. He had terminal cancer.
Oh, well, I don't wish death on nobody, but hey.
There's a dude that I had went to school with, that I went to LBJ with. He graduated from LBJ in my class, and then he ended up teaching there. He ended up being a coach there, and But he had got sick. Like when he was 20, he had got sick with cancer, and then he ended up dying. So nothing really came out of it.
Yeah. Well, he met his maker, and he can tell his maker about it. Hopefully, he asked God for forgiveness before he hit that dirt.
And he was
So
using the soft, like when I almost said her name. When she went through her daughter text messages, he was using a sob story. I'm not gonna be here long. I'm terminal ill, and he was just being like that. And
Manipulative.
yeah, he was. Yeah, and he did. Now he died for real.
So King D, was that the only? Was she the only child that he was messing with at that school that you know of?
Yeah, that we know of. Yeah.
Wow, boy.
My cousin got twins by her coach.
What?
Yeah, man.
Hold up, back up.
Wow.
My cousin, one of my family members, her baby daddy is a grown 40-something-year-old man.
He was 40-something.
And he was her basketball coach.
God.
Did he go to jail?
Wait a minute, he didn't go to jail?
You know, my family member, her mama didn't pursue charges. And they never did out of school or nothing.
Okay, was that here in Texas?
Yeah, it was here in Texas.
Well, you would think here in Texas, the state was like, hey, it doesn't matter, they're going to press charges. Now,
the family swept under the rug. They didn't say nothing about it.
Yeah, you got to say something first.
Yeah, they didn't say nothing about it. Yeah, she got two boys by him. I almost said their name. I don't want to say their name, but they're cute little boys. But
are they still together? Are they still with each other?
He don't even he know that he got the twins, but he not in their life or nothing.
God, boy, what the?
It's a double jeopardy right there.
Well, y'all gonna make me have to pour a glass of wine. Put this water down.
And she wanted to wait until she's not gonna put on child support or nothing because they're gonna go back and look at the age difference. They're gonna say, well, you was 16 and this man was in his 40s. So she can't do what she could do because she don't want to get him in no trouble.
See, and that's the thing I don't like. I mean, you're the parent and you know that your son, your daughter is messing. I'm sorry, I'm sending you to jail. I mean, you're not gonna touch my child, and I'm just gonna just ignore it and just let that stuff fly by. Especially if I had a girl, God knows I might need some bail money because a teacher would put hands on my daughter. Y'all can just. I might be in jail. He might be dead, and bail money may not do no good. But I'm not gonna play when it comes towards mine. But for somebody to know that they babies having an affair with somebody that's a teacher, was this man? They weren't getting money for this man, like hush money or nothing like that. Dominique, was he?
No, it wasn't nothing like that. She just found out because she was on his basketball team at school, and she found out she was pregnant for him. And I mean, but they kept her saying no students, nobody knew that they were fooling around. Nobody knew.
What the hell?
And she was, and when I say she was a star player, like my cousin can ball.
Right.
She probably would have went to the women's basketball by now. She was cold, and he ended up knocking her up with them twins, and they kept it hush hush. She told him, and they to this very very day nobody. So how I found I recently when the boys was 4, I went to their birthday party, and I was like, it was a dude there, and I was like, oh, that's their daddy, and she was like. And so she pulled me to the side and she told me. I was like, I was like, who they did? And she was like, she said she didn't say his name. She just said it was my coach back in high school.
Was he married?
He was.
Oh Lord have mercy.
He was.
That's wild. I mean, there's a man right there, a coach.
Yeah.
See, but I mean, now that we're talking about it, I've actually heard there was a story a while back where with the Olympic team, with the Olympic gymnastics team,
right,
where some of those girls had I want to they say accusations. I don't know what the word is, but they had the claims that they had been inappropriately handled, and and so I don't know what it is. It's something about it seems as though
charged for that. So it's not alleged.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I couldn't remember the ins and outs of the whole story, but yeah, so it just seemed like that's one of them situations where somebody's accelerator might get stuck and their brake lines might not work no more.
That part. Yeah, that part. Oh my God.
He definitely gonna try it again, Kamari, because he got away with it. That's very true. But I know exactly who he is. Yeah. He was on the school website as the head coach. She pulled it right up. And they looked on. He could not deny them boys if he tried. They look exactly like him.
That's crazy. Now,
That's called karma. That's karma right there.
well, you know what? Yeah, that is. It's gonna come in a big way. Now, Mr. Britton, you said yourself you work with certain people. Have anything like that? You working with certain people? Have that anything happened with any young people that you might have worked with? Some of these people that, for myself, I have. Before I get you, Mr. For that, get back to you, Mr. Britton. I have worked in a situation where they had young people that was mental, and they get help, and it was a person that was messing with one of the 17-year-olds. Now he went to jail. They took him behind straight to jail because the girl ended up pregnant. And what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to, you go in there, you're supposed to help him. The girl had like maybe a third grade, fourth grade level, but she was really not there because she has a, she was mental, and this man took advantage of her, and he went straight to jail. So, Mr. Brent, I want to ask you, have you came across anything like that you have worked with people before? Have any adults took advantage of anybody because of their mental status or anything like that?
Well, I'm familiar with it from you know from the standpoint of working in the field. Seeing it. You know what I'm saying? So with mental health, I've seen some mental health cases where
Right.
it has sexual abuse attached to it. That type of thing. But I think more so, we're looking at this thing. We started looking at it. Not we didn't apply to mental health people, which is pertinent, but the fact
Mm-hmm.
that this is happening in households or in communities where it's perceived that our babies are with people and that's gonna keep them safe. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And I think that's the bigger question. You know what I'm saying? At what age do we stop assuring their safety? And how does this keep happening? And how is it condoned on one level and not on the next? Because you take 16-year, and I was going to comment on this when King B was talking.
Right.
You take like 16-year-old boys, right?
Uh-huh.
That have a girlfriend, maybe 17 or 18, and you know they impregnate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or they have older girlfriends, 20 years old, they impregnated. Most of
Right.
the time, at least when I was coming up, it wasn't really like totally frowned on. You know what I'm saying? He just had to get him extra paper route.
Right.
That's all that was. But you know, realistically, what I'm saying, we got to look at this thing from a different perspective in that, where does it stop at? You know what I'm saying? Before it even escalates to this. These
Right.
questions shouldn't even be pertinent because we should be doing a better job in protecting, and that's how I feel about it. So, it's a touchy issue with me because I've seen so many cases. I can talk about them, but I can't talk about them, and
Right.
it's frightening. You know what I'm saying? To even see, like, shoot, you got some cases where the parent doesn't even condone it and sold them into those positions.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? For
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? A star athlete, he getting ready to go to the next phase. He got the pay. Mama might turn her head. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? She might,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's a lot of components to this thing, man. And all of it should be looked at.
You're right. I agree. And I just want to touch back on what Dad said when Minora was asking Dad about him being 16. And I can understand what Dad was talking about because if you're 16 and you get approached by a very attractive woman or older woman, period, you just don't think about that. The only thing you thinking about, like, I got an older woman. She coming on to me. And young boys at their age, the hormones are going. That's all you're thinking about.
I
You're not thinking about you're not thinking about, oh, it's wrong, or, oh, you think about, oh, I'm with an older woman, I'm about to
agree to
do
get it in.
something,
Yeah.
and I'm about to go tell something. Now, I'm gonna ask Dad. Now, Dad, at that being age, at 16, you go rag to the boys about what happened, right? You got an older woman, and y'all they probably ask you a bunch of questions and everything about the older woman, what she do, what she did, and all that stuff. So,
Ironically, no, I did not. I kept it to
what?
myself. The only people that knew was my brother and my
Right.
sister.
But you
They was
know
the
what?
only ones that knew.
You know what I don't understand?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we don't hold our children as high regard as we should, as far as the legacy of our family, the legacy of our country, community.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hold them as high as we should. Like, I've been on job interviews for, like, it'll either be a major organization or it'll be a government job, whatever. They
Right.
do these psychological tests. They do these personality tests and assessments. But you have these teachers with all of these mental, emotional challenges, is crazy,
Yeah.
deranged, and
Yeah.
it's not being assessed. Nobody's going in depth to teach to test these people.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with you. But we're gonna get right back on that top on that issue right there, y'all. Hey, don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be back in 2 and 2. So stay tuned.
Brand new year and I'm locked in. Far as this teaching go, I am unreachable. I'm number one in your top 10. Miss Williams, been popping. 2020 new school, you're dropping.
Williams is being charged by Dougherty County School System Police Department with 2 counts of sexual assault by persons with supervisory and disciplinary authority. Now, many of you may know Mrs. Williams from her viral back-to-school rap video that WALB aired in our Good News segment back in 2020. In the last hour, we received a statement from the Dougherty County School System that reads in part, quote, "The charges were filed as the result of an investigation into allegations of an inappropriate relationship with a student. Last week, Williams resigned her position in lieu of termination by the Dougherty County School Board of Education," end quote. If Williams is found guilty of those charges, she could potentially be facing 1 to 20 years in prison.
All right, all right, all right. Make sure y'all got your notifications set, because I'm telling you, tomorrow is the day. The judges have chose a poet for 2025, and we will be announcing tomorrow who is going to be 2025's Powerful Poet of the Year. Also, if you notice, the Powerful Poet will receive everything that you see there. They will get a $25 Amazon card. They will also receive this beautiful trophy, as well as something to make themselves feel and relax and smell good, along with a certificate, the mug for the Unspoken Heart, and the first award-winning chosen by Amazon editors book, The Unspoken Heart. They will also receive a t-shirt and a notebook that will continue on with their writing, along with the CD from myself, Spicy Gray, on the first book edition. So make sure y'all tune in, because they will be here to announce the winners live by telephone. So make sure, poets, that you go ahead and identify with the area code 512, because if it's 512, you may be the winner. And as you see, we just have the Powerful Poet category. We have 4 categories to choose. They have chosen poets from, and also 2 categories from the children. So just make sure you tune in live so you can be able to see who is going to be in those slots. Now over to Dwight.
Yeah. Y'all be sure to watch that, because that's gonna be exciting. That's gonna be better than the Oscars and the County Works. It's gonna be better than all that. So y'all be sure to watch that tomorrow. I know I can't wait, because I'm excited myself. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight. I might be tossing and turning all night thinking about that show. But dang, okay, Nora, before we went to break, and I agree with you on some of the things you said, Nora, because for one, I don't know they don't check these teachers' backgrounds because it's just happening so many. I mean, it had to be something somebody passed. I don't know what we missing or what the school
No, not
district.
necessarily.
Well, what
Uh,
are you thinking,
That's what I was
Michael?
about to say. If they haven't been
Not
charged with anything,
necessarily.
it won't show up because like every year I have to do a background check in order
Right,
to teach Alvin Ailey's dance camp. So they
right.
do
I'm
a
not talking about
background
that.
check on you.
I'm talking about looking beyond not the past, but looking at the propensity. What is in your character? What is in your personality? What psychological things do you have in the background that might reflect in the future? Like, you don't see this child as someone you need to protect, you see them as prey, you might see them as your equal.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are a red flag. So there's ways to get those things out with assessments.
Okay, but let me ask y'all this: what do y'all think? So, because some of these teachers are married, okay? They marry and a few of them are. So what? I just want to know what y'all think it is that will make a teacher, female or male, that will look at a student. I mean, is it because the way they look, the communication they have, maybe on a certain mental level as those kids thinking as the same as a 15-year-old? I mean, what is it that making these teachers want to be with a child? So somebody supposed to be
I
teaching.
I think they're hunting. They're choosing children who they think might have a certain quality, like a weakness, or maybe they're quiet or timid, or maybe they might have self-esteem issues. They're targeting certain types of children. You can't come at all of them that way. So they
Mm-hmm.
have to be targeting them in a certain way,
Right,
hunting them.
Yeah, yeah, you have to because some these teachers they have what I would call a predatorial mindset. And
right,
like Nora was saying, they looking for a weakness that they can exploit. If this child is if this child is kind of falling behind in class, they may need a little help on the to boost their grades up and things of that nature. Is
right.
you'd have to put your mindset in the mind of a predator, and that's not a good place to be to even think about that. So
Right.
because like she said, they're preying on them. They did. I mean, just call a spade a spade. They're predators.
Yeah, you're right, Des. I agree with you, Mr. Brendan. How do you feel about this? Do you agree with Nora and Des about that? About the way these people think and move?
Yeah, I agree with him. I definitely agree with him. I definitely agree with what you just said, Des. And but to offer another side to that is that it's not always so cut and dry that it's just a predator. You know what I'm saying? The people that take on uh, these types of actions are people that are lacking somewhere. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They damaged. You know what I'm saying? So if they find somebody that plays into their to their need to have somebody need them,
Mm-hmm.
that might escalate so high that it clouds rational thinking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? These are some of the things. Just don't look for the one that be looking at kitty porn, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, and
Right.
miss the one that's right there. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because it's some psychological warning signals. You know what I'm saying? Long before it even gets to that, and somebody just has to be observant of it. And as you alluded to how they got checks and balances, like even with you, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And that's what's happening because you got your staff that's aware of it. It helps. You know what I'm saying? But just don't go to sleep and say it's the regular everyday predator because no, it's a lot
Right.
craftier than that because it's a disease, something that they miss. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know what to look for, they can be sitting right in front of
You're right. You're right. King D, what's your take? How about you think? Just like everybody on the panel, what you think it might be that these teachers, for some, they just wherever it is, going through their thinking progress or whatever it is. What do you think? Why they do what they do? You on mute?
most most teachers like I don't forgot who said. I think either Dave said it or Mr. Britton. One of them said that
Right.
most teachers like students who are vulnerable.
Yeah.
They like the vulnerability in like kids. It's just sick. They preying on the weak. Like you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like if you think about it, most of the people that are doing that to kids are people who work closely with these children, like
Right.
counselors and uh, coaches and stuff. They work closely with the kids and they sit back and they look. Okay, this child got a problem going on at home. Well, let me try.
Right.
Or this child got uh, one day the child come to you and say, "Oh, I'm thinking about committing suicide." You want to kiss him and fondle
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
No, that's sick.
Yeah.
You're doing it, but making it worse.
Yeah. You're right. And I agree with everybody on the panel. Now, that video we just saw, not so long, and I remember that the lady in the video we saw, that teacher that was close with her students. And I remember seeing that video. I said, oh wow, she having fun with the students. She's close to them, she's dancing, and bam. Now she on the news with getting with this ridiculous assault with this child or children that she's doing things to. And this is about just like y'all said, but her situation, I don't know if it was somebody that was quiet. I don't even know if it was one of the students she was dancing with in the video. But that's what I was saying. Some of these teachers, I don't know, they just like they grown, but they think like teenagers or something. Some in their heads just not wired right, and they just do the things they do. I mean, to me, I'm like, I could never think about doing nothing like that because the fear of being caught or somebody snitching on you. And then the ones that are in a relationship or married, that's the one that even throws me off the most. You got some of these teachers that are actually married. They've been married for over 10 years or 20 years. They got a husband at home. Now, no, I just want to ask you from a side, ask you from a woman point of view, what do you think would make a woman that married to her husband for 15 or 20 years? She's a teacher. And all of a sudden, she's messing with JoJo in the back. And like I said, one case that was on the news that the woman even tried to get the student to kill her husband so they can be together. I mean,
okay, so which question you want me to answer?
I was just wondering because some of these teachers are, they're married and they're married to their husband and they still go cheat with a student. What would make some of these women? Now, I don't know what it is with some of the women, but some of them are married. Why would they do something like that?
Well, first of all, I'd like to note that for these women and a lot of people, until they've been convicted or confessed, they're still
Right.
presumed innocent. Okay.
Right.
And then I would like to point out the fact that I believe just because someone gets caught 20 years down the line doesn't mean that that's their first time, their first experience. That just means that's the first time they got caught.
True.
They got exposed. So it might have been a problem that was growing from year one or before she even got married. You don't know. Or you might have couples that into it together. You don't know what's going on inside that house, and you don't know what's in her closet. There might be some other red flags that popped up in her lifetime that people ignored or she just got away with. So I think people like that are damaged, just like he said. Who was that? Des? People like that are damaged. Period. So when it shows up, when people notice, we don't know.
Right. But let me ask all of y'all this. Do y'all think maybe some of these teachers might have been, as children themselves, touched by a teacher but never told nobody?
Either that or, it could have been even somebody in their family, because a lot of time, I know we're discussing about the teachers, but this goes on a lot. This happens a lot of times also outside of the house.
Right.
And people tend to carry those situations with them for life, because even, they, all the stuff that R. Kelly's gotten into, they say that he was a victim of SA as a child. And you see how that affected his behavior along, later on in life. So it seems as though some of them may have had this happen to them, so it may seem normal.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
it's a challenge, a struggle that they have had to fight or live with. You know,
Mm,
a lot of people go through traumas in their lifetime, and then when you become an adult and put away childish things, you make a decision whether or not you want to be better, or do better, or continue being damaged, sick, and unhealed. It's
right.
you responsible for that.
Yeah.
But in some of those cases where you know, yeah, yeah, that's good. But in some of those cases, uh, they have the ability to kind of fly over the radar, so to speak. You know,
Right.
and for those people that have had, like R. Kelly, he ain't had the
Mm,
best life, but he kind of flew under the radar
you
for a
sure?
long time. You know what I'm saying? And so for them, what I'm saying is that becomes their normality, right? So
Right.
that's why they can't differentiate from right from wrong in that vein, because this has been their normal. It's been
Yeah.
cool. In fact,
Yeah.
I done got pats on the back. I done been told I'm the greatest of all time, this and that and the third, and this is normal. And
Right.
it doesn't become abnormal until somebody stops them, either society as a whole or court, or somebody doing them. But
Right.
once they have to meet a consequence, that's when it becomes wrong. But up until that point, it's normal.
Right. Well, you know what? I just want to know. No, I'm gonna ask all the rest of y'all. How will you think we be able to fix this? I mean, do you think before a person get hired as a teacher, they should do certain background checks? And I mean, you can go back so far just to make sure that you can kind of slow this down, because you just see so many of these people get through the cracks, and it's like a revolve. It just keep going on. Every time you turn around, you're hearing this story, you're hearing this story, and you have people asking that same question: well, how are these teachers getting hired? I mean, because they make the school district like they just hiring anybody off the street.
Well, the problem is we have a shortage of great teachers.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think we're prioritizing the great part and letting the other stuff slide under the rug. When these teachers show that they are, they're above the mark. They're A+
Right.
people, they're smart, they're intelligent, they got skills. But what about the ones that have all of that and they're sick? So
Mhm.
I think we should treat it like we do government jobs. Like if you trying to get a job with the FBI, you're gonna do 4 or 5 interviews.
Right.
They do
Right.
personality exams. They're gonna. I mean, we need to treat it like it's something valuable. Our students are valuable, and we need to act like it.
I mean, but realistically, you don't know if someone is going to be they mask it well.
Mhm.
These sick individuals mask it well, so they can pass all kinds of drugs. I'm not drug tests. They can pass all kinds of background checks or XYZ, and
Right.
and still be a sicko. You know, like they didn't. They just got caught this time. You know,
Right.
but they don't have. They don't. Some of them don't even have no background.
You're
You know,
right. Andy, you're right. Now, Des, you probably a teacher. What do you think would be a good way to solve this or to slow it down? I mean, ain't no guarantee you're gonna catch every last one of these teachers, but as you being a teacher, what do you think is the solution of trying to fix this problem so we can kind of slow this thing of these teachers being with these kids and doing the things they're doing?
Well, a lot of times, just with some of the organizations that I have taught for, they actually take the kids themselves through
Right.
these psych evaluations and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And if they notice something about a kid, they will come to me and be like, "Hey, you got to watch this with this kid. This kid is going to try to do this X, Y,
Right.
Z. So just pay attention and watch out for that." But
Right.
like Nura was saying though, with this new generation of teachers that's coming on, they need to do some type of psych evaluation, because of
Yeah.
the simple fact that these new YNs, these new kids, they got
Yeah.
a whole different thought process.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Nah.
they stuck on some. some other stuff that when we was coming up, well, y'all probably got a few years on me, but even in my little time,
Right.
you know, we was raised a little different. You know, and a lot of times also, I think that just to get to the point, these teachers that's coming in, they need to do psych evaluation, because they even with some of the teaching jobs that I've had to sit down and have these conversations during the interview. Have to have those type of evaluations, because they're trying to see if they see, like Nura said, if they see any of those red flags within me. You know, so they do need to get with these new teachers that's coming out now, and see where their mind is at. And I think that would help a little bit. I mean, you're not like King D said, you ain't gonna catch them all. Like you said, you ain't gonna catch them all. But at the same time, you can weed out what you can catch in the process before you even put them in a position to do something wrong.
I agree with you, Dave. I definitely agree with you. But that being said, y'all, we'll be back in 2 and 2, or maybe 1. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Mela is facing serious charges in Illinois. She's accused of having sex with a boy she was tutoring in her classroom. Formella was a soccer coach and a special ed teacher at South Downers Grove High in Downers Grove, Illinois, outside of Chicago. Downers Grove police pulled her on March 16th to have a little chat. They followed her to her driveway.
Hey, how you doing? Hi. Officer Guzman with Downers Grove. Do you have your license on you?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm ready to explain. I'm sure you're explaining it to you. You're Christina?
Yes.
Okay, Christina, do me a favor. Can you step out of the car for me? I know you're confused. I'll explain everything to you. You don't have anything on you? You can just grab whatever you need.
Whatever I need?
Yeah, whatever you need. If your phone, grab it. Is she going somewhere? Or? Yeah, we're going to explain everything to you guys.
The mother of the boy that Formella is accused of having sex with went to police after the state attorney said she found text messages between her son and Formella on his phone.
I don't understand what's going on here. I get it, yeah. You can go grab your things.
Can he come with me?
Yes. You stay there for right now, sir. Just stay there, but yes, you can. Now, come on back here.
Should I shut the car up?
Oh, yeah. Goes off. Okay. Let's right back over here. So, we do have an investigation going on to talk to you about it at the police department, okay? So we're going to explain everything to you there. It's not my investigation. I don't know the full details. We do have to bring you there, though, okay? So I do have to put you in handcuffs and bring you to the police department. Just a Downers Grove.
Handcuffs?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
I'm willing to go with you.
I get it, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do it that way. So do me a favor, we just take this off.
Can I ask you
Of course. Like I said, it's not my investigation. Obviously, we're here for a reason. So go ahead and turn around for me. So right now, you're being detained. There's a detective that needs to talk to you at the police department. So we'll let, if your husband know, he can just come to the police department as well if he wants to wait for you there. I get it. You have a lot of questions.
So scared.
Yeah, everything's okay. We just need to talk to you at the police department. That's all. Anything else on your pocket right now? Anything else?
My phone.
Just your phone?
Here.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to sit in the back of this car. On the other side. Once you get to the police department, you'll talk to the detective and he'll explain everything to you.
But you can't even give me an idea as to what this is about?
It's an investigation, but I can't really tell you right now. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
Is he coming with me?
We'll let him know right now.
All right, all right. The time has came and it has been a long wait. We will be coming on live tomorrow to announce the Georgia's chosen poets, who will be 2025 Powerful Poet of the Year. Make sure you tune in tomorrow as we will be here live. And make sure you share. Back over to Dwight.
Yeah, y'all be sure. Don't forget, tomorrow is the day, y'all. It's finally here. We will know who is the most powerful poet of 2025. So please be here at the same time and watch the show. It's gonna be a great show. And like I said, I am excited. I don't know who it is. I just can't contain myself. So y'all be sure to watch that show because it's gonna be lit. Now I want all the panel to answer the question. I'm gonna answer first, and y'all just go around and just speak your mind. Now, if I was in the car, and if I was married, me and my wife got pulled over by the police, and after hearing what that police would say, I would look at her. I don't know. Me personally, I would have a lot of things going in my head because I'm like, wow, I can't believe I married this woman. I've been with her for 10 years or more, and she's doing this behind my back. She's doing text messages with a child. The child, the one that snitched on her. He snitched on her. And for me to be married to a woman like, I'm sorry, I don't have to get a divorce because I can't be with a woman that's working with children because that's a child, and then she turns around and does that. I was like, yeah, well, they talking to you. I'm gonna get those papers started because I just can't. I know it's for better or for worse, but that right there don't get no worse than that. You playing with kids. So then I'm gonna start with you. Then we'll go to Nora and we work our way around. How would you feel if you was in the car or you was dating somebody or even married to somebody, and the police pull y'all over and you hear what that police just said to that young lady? How would you feel using that situation? That was your wife or your fiance. What would you do? How would you act?
Well, first of all, I would think I'm like, hold up, you've been around my kids. Because if we've been in a relationship that long, that means you've been around my kids. That would make me wonder if
Yes.
you've done,
Oh yeah.
make me start looking at you and see, thinking about the behavior that my kids have around you. When you come around, how do they change? Or make me go back and ask them, hey, I know, has such and such ever done anything to you, blah, blah, blah. That's the
Mhm.
first thing it would do. And then we would have to end our relationship right then and there. Because at that point, I just can't trust you. I can't trust you anymore.
Oh my
You
God.
know, and then,
Yeah.
and they said that, it wasn't the son, it wasn't the son, the mother being a mother
Right.
going through the child's phone, found text messages and
Yeah.
reported it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God.
ain't nothing wrong with being a parent. Hey, as a
Hey,
parent, I can understand that you have to, watch your kids sometimes.
yes, you do.
So
That is crazy. I mean, oh my
mm.
God. No, how would you feel if you was like, married or you was with somebody and he been around your kids and Popo pull y'all over and the same thing just like this? What would you do? How would you handle that situation if you was dating or worse, married to somebody like that? How would you take that?
You're muted.
I said, wow. I'm waiting on my husband to find me. You mean to say I got to wait all this time? He finds me, and then this happens?
Yeah. That,
OMG, I'd probably lose my mind.
mm,
I'd probably just.
let me ask you this.
Ooh.
What would you say to him? Say you're in the car, and before they take his behind down for questioning, what would you say to him when they put those cups on and put him back in the seat of that car?
I don't know. That's heavy. I
Mm,
can't say how I would be. I just know I'd be hurt and I'd be shocked and
right.
I'd be hurt and I might be speechless. I don't know.
Mm-mm. Lord Jesus. Don't cry now, Mira. It's just a question. Don't cry now. Just a question. We ain't got there yet. So, King D, same question. How would you feel if you was in the car and your fiance or the girl you with, married or whatever, and the police pull y'all over and they got her from sending text messages to somebody like 14 or 15 years old? What would you say? What would you do if that happened? You was in the car and they pulled your lady out, what would you do?
Yeah, that's an automatic divorce. There's no even. I couldn't even. I wouldn't even question that because,
Right.
like what that was said already, you've been around my kids, and
Yeah.
you'll do something like this to kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, no matter how big your booty is. No, I'm not trying to. I don't care. I found me another big booty hole.
Woo! Yeah, I know that's right. Dang. Mr. B,
Say, and
Mr.
give her a
B.
psych evaluation.
That right.
Mhm.
Damn. Well, Mr. B, same question. I mean, hey, Mr. B there? Hey, Mr. B, you there? Uh-oh. I think he's Mr. B.
I'm
That
here.
video.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, Mr. B, that video you just saw. Now, say you was with your girl, fiance, or she was your wife. Police pull you over, and they took her out the car saying she was doing text messages and maybe some extra pictures with a minor. What would you do? What would you say to her when they're about to put her in the car? Would you stay with her? Would you leave her, divorce her? What would you do if you was in that situation? They're putting your wife, your fiance, or your girlfriend in the police car because of what she was doing.
Well, I would. My glasses was talking to me. Sorry about that. I mean, and I'm not trying to get us in any trouble, but I got to give it to you wrong. I would be like, and I'm gonna use these terms. Itch. Itch. You plucked up. Itch. You plucked up, right? Cause like everything gone is a barn sale. You know what I mean? I'm stacking dough. I'm closing accounts. You know what I'm saying? I'm shutting it all the way down. You know what I mean?
You
She
turning into
done.
Orange Juice Jones on her, huh?
Man, she done, man. You hear me? She done. You hear what I'm saying, Dan? You know where I'm going. It's over. I ain't gonna panic. I'm like, would y'all hurry up and get her where she got to go? So I can give me the keys. Give me the keys. You know what I'm saying? I'm going home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm stacking and packing. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
Hey, Mr. Quinn, I ain't gonna lie. When they told her to give them that purse, I am gonna get that credit card so I can get some of that cash out of you.
Right,
You ain't
everything. The
gonna
blue
need
diamonds. Didn't know nothing about blue diamonds.
Damn. Boy, now, Spicy. I know you've been listening. I gotta ask you that same question, Spicy. What would you do if y'all pull over and the man you in love with, the man that you say I'll die for, okay, y'all get pulled over and you hear those charges. I mean, how you gonna react to that, Spicy?
I'm gonna jump over the armrest and I'm gonna get in the driver's seat and I'm gonna about my business and go find me an attorney to file a divorce.
And call Mr. B. Hey B, hey B, he done messed up. Where you at?
I got my toes done.
When they say breaking points, that is a breaking point for me because as a mother, my mindset's gonna go towards if you mess with somebody else's child, it's a matter of time or have you mess with my child.
That's the first question that would pop in my head. Have you messed with
the way
mine?
I feel that I can't. It's a done deal. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
Attorneys in effect.
Wow, I agree with every last one of you because I'm the same way. That's over. And then when we was married, you better believe I'm going downtown to sign those papers because I can't be with a woman that does that. And especially if I already had kids and we got married and then I'm sitting here with Dan because she could have did something to my nieces and nephews. It's a done deal. It's game over. It's over.
Yeah, because I'm going home and I'm questioning, have he ever touched you? Did he look at you inappropriately? Did you feel uncomfortable? And even if they say no, the fact that you are an investigation for this matter.
Exactly. And
I'm done.
And Spicy and y'all, I don't know. I think the cop did say that wasn't that her husband sitting in the past?
Well, from this here, she was that all of it wasn't shown, but she was hollering for her husband. She's like, I need to talk to my husband. Where's my husband? And but once they informed her that he knew what the charge was, she was quiet and she started crying.
Wow, that's something deep there that your wife or your husband got caught up
He
in
didn't
that.
want to have nothing to say to her. He did
I
not.
don't blame him. I don't blame him. I've been
He
dumb.
told them he didn't want to talk to her.
Yeah, it happened to me. I ain't got nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got your, you go to jail, do what you got to do. But as far as us, it's a wrap. You know
But
what I'm saying?
what if one of those 6 women, what if one of them was innocent and wasn't what it looked like?
Oh, well, that'll be
That'd
different.
be a
I
whole
mean,
nother ball game.
yeah, it's a whole no
If
ball
she
game.
was set up, because some of these boys, some of these young men, they have vivid imaginations, and
Yeah,
they could have been like one of us had a crush on her, and
that's
she
right.
turned them down.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he said, "Oh, I'm gonna get you. You gonna
yeah.
wish that you would have did what I said you're gonna do."
Right.
Woo, yes,
Right.
you saying the mouthful right there, my brothers. You right? Because they will do it. Some of those kids will do something like that. Yeah,
Because you got to think there have been some young ladies who have done the same thing too.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Because sometimes like you said, Nura, until they are charged and convicted, they are presumed innocent until
Innocent
proven
until
guilty.
proven guilty.
And
That's
it
right.
just may be out of that 6, that half a dozen, one of them could have been set up.
Yeah.
That is a
Hey,
possibility.
Dig this.
uh-oh.
If my baby come and tell me,
Uh-huh.
hear what I'm saying. If my baby come tell me so and so did this to me, it ain't even a court that's gonna have to deal with that. That ain't gonna be the issue.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you, Mr. Britton. I definitely feel you. But I also
Right.
feel what Dad said too, because these kids today are way more wiser and crazy than when we was growing up. And like I agree with Dad said, sometimes these kids, boys, see that teacher in there? Yeah, boy, look at that boy. She got a fat one. And they have a crush on their teacher. We all had crushes on our teachers. And then, just like Dad said, these kids, their part will set some teachers up because the teacher said, "No, I'm not with them. I'm here to teach you. Well, I'm gonna get her. Since you ain't down with it, I'm gonna mess you up and go out here and make a lie and get that teacher in trouble."
Well,
And
let me
that's a
ask
great
this
point.
question, Dwight. I want to ask
Yep.
this question
Mhm.
because this bothered me from day one that, when I had my niece and I was enrolling her in Roosevelt,
Right.
I seen it even when I had to enroll my son in Roosevelt in order to get a transfer to MacArthur. Their parents are allowing these students as well. When I sat there, I could not believe my eyes on these students, and the school is allowing it to where they're wearing real short mini skirts.
Yes.
They're wearing spaghetti straps. They're wearing booty shorts right to
Daisy Dukes,
school in front
baby.
of these
I think
teachers.
Well, see, Spice, that's what we say. It's a whole different time because we couldn't do that now. Now I'm Generation X. You can go to school with no Daisy Dukes and short mini skirt and walking out there with all your chi-chis sticking out. They're not gonna allow that. That's why I said today time it's different. They let these girls go here basically like they going to like they strippers today. I mean that's
Exactly.
That's one way that they tried to eradicate that situation, at least up here in the Kansas City Public School District, where they made they put them on a uniform policy.
right.
To where, everybody has to wear the blue shirt and the khaki pants,
They
khaki
should. I
skirt,
agree. Yeah.
stuff like that. But but before then, because sometimes even when I was in high school back from 90 to 94,
Right.
some of them girls will come to school and you be like, "Girl, don't you bend over too fast."
That part. See, in my school, they just had some tight jeans on. They look good in tight jeans and the shirt. But like you said, they got a whole new system. I don't know what kind of milk they feeding these young girls today. Half of them like they in their 20s, they 6, 15. They look like they 20. They got the girls they develop real quick, but I said develop, they develop.
Yeah, because the kids now are more developed than when we was coming up.
Exactly.
And they even got the shape better than what we did as women coming as little girls when we was little girls. And they looking like women, So when I'm sitting up here and I'm seeing you in a spaghetti strap shirt and you got big red, because when my niece would stay with me, I said, "No, you don't. Go back in that room and change clothes, or you gonna put a bustier under that."
Yeah.
I even seen them with pajamas and house shoes.
Yes.
What? Pajamas?
Yes. She's right.
They sure do.
You ain't
And
lying
they
about
let
the,
them in there.
you ain't
Lord.
lying about the people. I got another family member with me, my family friends. One of my family members, like pretty much all of the females in my family, they, how do you say, expired real fast.
Right.
They had body shapes of women at very young ages.
They
More
matured
advanced.
quickly.
More advanced.
More
Wow.
advanced.
Yeah.
So one of my family members, this is not funny, it's crazy. One of my family members, she ended up going to a party. Mind you, this family member, I think we were probably about 13. No, well, me and my twin sister are a little younger than her. So we were about maybe 7 or 8. No, I was 6. I'll never forget. Me and my twin sister were 6. So long story short, she ended up going to this party one night. And so they all having fun at the party, woo, and so of course, dudes are at the party.
Mm-hmm.
Dude got my family member, and they end up smashing.
Right.
So 4 months later, whoop, she pregnant.
Wow.
She was 13.
Wow.
And she told him that she was 19, and he believed her because so boom, another family, her dad. I'm saying her dad. Her dad was like, well, she ended up getting the positive test, and so her dad was like, so her mama called her daddy and was like, this girl that got pregnant, woo woo woo, and he was like, what? She just turned 13. How's she pregnant? So we all jump in the car. We fly to the city. How you get pregnant? What's his name? What's his name? She would not say this man's name. So boom. Long story short, she ended up saying the dude's name. He was like, "Are you the one that stayed?" Because we from a small town, and so everybody knew everybody. And he was like the one that stayed on this that. I know his mama. Woo woo woo. So we pull up around there. He was like, boom. Hey, you got my daughter pregnant. He was like, I don't know your daughter. This is my daughter, nigga. Let the window down. Oh, she grown. She 18 years old. He was like, this girl is 13. This man had a nervous breakdown. The word of God. He cried and fell out on the ground because he didn't know. He had no idea that she was that young.
Mm-hmm.
Back then,
But can I say something about that?
Yeah, because I wanted to say something on that too.
There
Because
is no way a man can have the same conversation with a 13-year-old that he will have with a 19-year-old. No, I am not buying.
Well, I can say off of looks, okay. There are some girl women that do have like a young voice or a squeaky voice or whatever. But when I looked at, cause like my daughter, when she was 15 years old, and there's men that would try to check her out that was 20, 22. They thinking that my daughter's like 19, and she was well developed. And so my thing was, I had to play daddy because the daddy wasn't in her life like that by his own choice. But my thing is that you're like, what mental status are you on to have a conversation with a 15-year-old, knowing that their conversation and their mentality and the maturity in conversation is not on the same level as a woman of your age.
Right.
Some men are foolish enough to believe that there are older women who are still naive and out there like,
and there is.
Y'all have to also remember they were drunk. These people are drunk. They're at a party. It's a house party, and it was a well-known spot where everybody went to. They had block parties literally every weekend.
So nobody there knew her age at all to know she ain't supposed to be drinking.
I guess not.
But everybody knows jailbait at that.
But when he found out, almost said the man. When he found out that this child was a child, if I tell you he had the craziest squeal of a freaking man, he cried and cried and cried.
I bet he did cry.
And he was like, "Oh, that's not me. I'm not like that." Woo, she told me.
But Dominic, let me ask you this: well, she wasn't a virgin then, right?
Yeah, she said she was. Yeah. Man.
Wow.
But yeah, my little family member, she had the baby or whatever. She 20. How old is my?
That's wild, man.
That's crazy.
yeah, but at the same time, though, King D, you did say y'all from a small town, which means everybody probably know everybody.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
But let me say this: we were raised in the country, in the country. So we only came to the city like to go to church or to go to the grocery store, but we didn't actually hang out in the city.
It's just
Oh,
basically
okay.
going to supplies and stuff like that. So it's not like everybody, you just knew of a small town, but y'all wouldn't go get supplies and stuff like that.
Of course, they all were like our parents and aunts and uncles. They were raised in a city, but after they got grown, they bought property out in the country.
Right.
So they raised that we were. When I say we were sheltered, we hardly ever went to the city. I can't say one time that I ran through them city streets. I cannot say one time.
Right.
We was way out in the country, like nothing's there.
And just like Nora said, and there have been cases that these young ladies, they look just like a woman, but there have been cases where some men, they knew it, but they still didn't care, and then you had some men that was, I guess they were so sloppy drunk, they was thinking with their other head, and then bam, you get caught up in some stuff, and unfortunately, the judge, the jury might not see it like that, and boom, you gonna be getting locked up for having sex with a minor.
Yeah, because I know there's a case, and this guy here swear up and down that he didn't know how old the girl was.
Right.
He was just saying it was him and his partner. They had something going on. They had been drinking.
Right.
The girl told him that she was an older age, way older than what she was.
Right.
And so what ended up happening when her dad found out, they ended up pressing charges because I think she was like 13 or 14 years old, and he was in the service at that. So that he got dishonorable
he was in the military.
Yes, and this is Texas. That's why I say, I listen at the Texas laws because it was in Texas, and he said he did not know. He said he told her another agent that she's on the stand saying whatever, and the parents are there. But at the end of the day, they said whether he knew or not, the fact that he actually had sex with her is why they had to still convict him.
Yeah.
And they convict him, and even though he's out now, he for life is a registered offender.
Sex offender. Y'all better start asking for these young girls ID. You don't
But
know.
they make fake IDs too now, so you can't even go by that.
But see, even that you can't even do that because, like, even with my situation, how I met her, I met her in a club.
God dang.
I met her in a club, but I was using my brother's ID.
Right.
Mm.
And me and my brother look so much alike because she did. Let me see your ID.
See, that's why I play it safe and just mention old women. She got some gray in her hair. She's safe. I'm messing with her. I ain't messing with somebody that look too young. They look too young. I said, no. I gotta find somebody that look more maturely. They could be, because you do have some women that look real young and they about your age or a little older. But I said, ain't nobody taking that damn chance. I'm finding somebody that look older than me. Old enough to know, because I'm like, F that. She got some gray hair? Okay, we good. Let's go. But you just gotta be careful. But the thing is, this is a great topic. I'm glad we had this because you have a lot of teachers out there that are still doing this. It's not gonna be the last. You do have a few men, but like Nora said, they innocent until proven guilty. But y'all just be careful. Y'all have children that's still in school. Talk to your children. Because like I said, school is one of the places you think your kids gonna be safe.
But it's gonna get to the point to where people gonna want to homeschool their children.
Homeschool, yeah.
Because they cannot trust their school systems tomorrow.
Yeah, you do have people now that's doing homeschool now because of not only the teachers and the sex, but the shooting that's going on in the school.
Yep.
Well, it's a combination of everything. The teachers, the shooting. I mean, it's just crazy out there. So I'm just gonna let everybody on the panel say a few words, about this subject we're talking about, and then we'll be heading out. So, Des, you go ahead and start us off. What you want to say?
Well, I'd say, one way that we can try to deter these teachers from doing that is if the parents become more involved in their kids' education. Don't just send them to school to get babysat 8 hours a day while you go to work. No, be involved with the child. Make sure you go to the parent teacher conferences. Go to the PTA meetings and things of that nature. Let the kid know that let these teachers know that you're going to be around this school. You just may pop up. You may do a random pop up just to check on your child. To make sure that they doing right. Not even worried. I ain't worried about you because I'm gonna check you at the door. I'm here to check on my child. And once these teachers know that the parents of these children are involved in their education, I believe that will deter a lot of these teachers from having these types of thoughts and being put in these and putting themselves in these situations. So parents, if we can step up as parents, maybe we can get these teachers out of that mentality. Oh, I can mess with that kid. It's gonna turn into I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing with that kid. That boy, mama crazy. I don't. Ooh, that boy, daddy. He missing a few screws. You know, and make these teachers think twice about doing this type of stuff. You know, so I would say parents, get involved in your kids' education and let these teachers know that you are a presence in their life. And if anything goes wrong with their child, they're going to have to deal with you.
Ooh, yes, Judge, you said a mouthful on that. And Noah, what you might have to say to the people out there? What's your thoughts, final thought of the night?
He made some very good points. Also, I would like to add that I've already shared what I thought about the assessments. Um, the punishment need to be more firm, and also like they do at jobs, how at the end of the year they would have you grade your boss, maybe ask the students what they think about their experience with the classroom for that year.
That's a good idea.
That might open up some conversation, that
Yeah.
an opportunity for the kids to be transparent. Even if they saw something, they're not the one, but maybe they saw a friend or a student involved in something.
Yes, I agree. That's a good idea. King D, what's your final thoughts? You have any final thoughts to say about this? What we talking about?
Man, y'all just, these teachers and stuff, y'all just stop messing with these dang on kids. Y'all nasty, and y'all need to
You're right. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. And Mr. B, he's still there. Did he fly the
No, he had to check out.
Okay, and I agree with King D and Nora and Brother Dan, especially King D. Leave these kids alone. You grown people leave these kids alone. These kids are innocent kids, but some of them anyway, but still, you are there to teach, not to get a boyfriend, side chick, girlfriend, whatever. Leave the kids alone. And parents, be sure to talk to your children. The elementary, junior high school, talk to your kids. Let them know if just talk to them every day to see what's going on in these classes, because you just don't know. And just like Brother Dad said, especially young boys, sometimes some boys will snitch, but some of the boys look at it as a fantasy. Oh, I like Miss Johnson. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna ride this out. I can't. Yeah. Because you got some guys out there that think like that. So, we need to try to slow this down and because it's not going to stop. It's not going to be the last time we hear about teachers doing this. So, parents, just do your part to help. Just like Nora said, maybe the kids can write something about the class or the teachers. That might give a clue. But be sure you talk to your children, keep an eye on them, and most of all, pray for them. On that note, and don't forget, y'all, tomorrow, it's important. Be here tomorrow. You don't want to miss tomorrow, because I'm telling you, it's going to be lit. I can't wait. The Powerful Forward 2025, I can't wait to see who it is. So y'all be sure to join us tomorrow. And for me, the king, all the guys on the show, and to North.
Dwight, let me say something right quick.
You got something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I came in specifically so I could say something because, I did have to, it just popped back in memory, because my son is deceased now. But we did have a situation where he was on what they call a 504 program. Right. And so the teacher was to come out to the home. And we did not know that, I didn't realize the teacher would go this low. That was just, we've had a certain room. We let them go ahead, let him do the teacher to my son. Right. And my son started acting kind of funny. Like I said, with each one of my kids, I form a bond to where they're comfortable to come to talk to me about anything. There's some things I wish they wouldn't talk to me about, but they do. But because I'm mama, I don't want to visualize that stuff. But, he ended up coming to me, sitting down, and, he had a male teacher. So this is going both ways. He actually had a male teacher, and he was touching my child inappropriately.
Oh, no.
And in our home.
Wow.
And so we did press charges. He did have to do time, and he is listed for the rest of his life. So, even when it come down to this 504 program, especially kids, he was nothing mentally wrong with him. He suffered with sickle cell disease. So, it's hard for him to be in the classroom. So, even a child like that, a child that's mentally disabled, Check on the rooms. Have cameras set up in the rooms because you can't trust anybody, no matter how kind they are, how they seem like they just concerned about the education. You have to take precautions because you don't know people. You don't know these teachers out here. You don't know even family members. You know, so when you set up for 504 programs or any type of schooling at home, set up cameras and make sure you don't tell them about those cameras. So that way, this cannot happen to some other child that doesn't have a camera in the room.
That's right. I agree, Spice. Spice, I'm surprised he made it out your house alive, because I ain't gonna lie, he made it out my house alive. You in my house doing that? Ooh,
well,
Lord.
we didn't know until later.
Okay, till later.
Yes, way later when he sat out and talked to us, and then that's when we reported it. He wasn't at the house then. We did call the school, tell the school do not send him out. And we did have the police officers. The police officers went out to the school. They did arrest him there. And then they had to find us another teacher. This time it was a female teacher, but at the same time, what we did, I sat right in the room. I was not moving.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Lord, Spicy, thank you for that. Look, y'all, just like Spicy said, the cameras, they ain't got no cameras there. Whatever you got to do, protect your children, because we do have a lot of relatives that are teachers. So y'all just have to watch your children. I don't care if they 6 years old to 16, 17. Watch your babies, because they're still babies, because you got a lot of monsters that are out there in the school district. So pray for the children, because we got so much going on with the teachers, even the school shoot. Just like Spicy said, shoot, y'all might have to start keeping your kids at home. You got internet, they can do school from home. If we continue to get this worse, but we're going to pray for the children. We just want to thank y'all for letting us into your house and talking about this. We appreciate y'all. Keep watching us. If y'all have a topic that y'all would like us to talk about, be free to call us, get in contact with Spicy or myself. We'll talk about it. And whatever you want to talk about, we're here for you. And once again, don't forget tomorrow to join us, because it's going down with the most powerful poet of 2025. Until then, from me, we love y'all. God bless. And see you tomorrow. We out.